guys. Settle down. Settle down. Okay, here we are, Crazy TV Talk, and we are live as everybody gets up and leaves. Welcome to a typical
I think he's
show.
burning something or something.
Yeah, I know, or he burned something. Ah, man. So, anyways, today's show is going to be pretty fun. Got four crazy guys, all super excited about rediscovering Utopia or discovering Utopia for the first time. Actually, Jay didn't let slip that he was into Utopia a long time ago. This isn't a recent show. They did 2 seasons, and Tony, their third season isn't on the books, is it? It looks like they're not going to be having a third season.
Doesn't sound like it, no.
No, they did season 1 in 2013, season 2 in 2014, and then they got canceled in the UK. But the rumor and confirmed is that HBO is picking it up for an American version. Going to be shot and directed by David Fincher and written by who is it? Gillian Flynn, who just did Gone Girl.
Huh.
She wrote the screenplay and the book for that.
Well, the whole thing is it's already fantastic. You wouldn't have to really rewrite it very much. Just take out some of the slang. Yeah, we can talk about that, I think, later on, because maybe we'll get some more news. But I'm a little concerned about it too. I think they're going to, do the usual American dumbing down, cleaning up, take away. But here's the thing: it is going to be on HBO. So HBO,
okay, maybe
at least you can get away with, what they're kind of getting away with. So,
yeah.
Let's hope they preserve the humor.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part, and like there's a quote from, and I don't really like the quote, but it's a quote from Fincher talking about, I really like how they got all the nerd culture, and it's like, ooh, don't say that, because that means you don't understand it. Okay, so please don't.
God. Oh, it's a comic book show. I can do one of those. It's just like, oh God, please.
I'm going to reset the kind of tone here, though. What we have here is something super special and really incredible, regardless of if it's not going to continue in UK TV and it's going to be reintroduced in the US. It doesn't matter. There are 12 episodes of this amazing series, and thank you, Bob, and good evening to you, and for really bringing this back on the radar for me, because I watched season 1 like last year in February, so this was really exciting to really to start going through it again, and I'm glad that we're going to do it like an episode or 2 episodes at a time, and I really appreciate it because it's such an amazingly shot, written, acted, scored, everything. It is a great little film, and thanks, Ken, for coming on, and thanks, Tony, for coming out. It's really awesome to let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in here and just say I'm super excited about the show, discovering the show, because it's one of those rare shows that's firing on all pistons. I mean, the cinematography, the tweaks to color, the acting, the writing. I mean, you name it. That's why we're actually dedicating this first show on just the first episode, because I mean, a lot of people, when I'm pushing it and saying you should check the show out, I say, well, what's it like? He says, I'll tell you what, watch the first 15 minutes, and if you can turn off your TV after the first 15 minutes, the show's not for you. And and people calling back, I'm on episode, I'm in the 2nd season already. But that was yesterday we talked. I know, I couldn't stop. If you get it, it's amazing. So this is the type of show, it's like Rome, had 2 seasons, but I totally recommend anybody watching Rome because it's that awe-inspiring as far as production and writing and acting. So for sure, even though there's only 2 seasons, it's worth it. It's just mind-boggling good. And what's another thing that's amazing about it, it just takes the concept of ultraviolence, like Clockwork Orange ultraviolence, and brings it back to the original concept of ultraviolence that is really shocking without it being this this American style of shocking violence, which is full of energy and angst and overacting and rah-rah stuff.
And too many quick cuts and too many inserts and too many like
slow-mo and they slow it down and they beat it to death, and then I mean one 4 punches takes 6 minutes to shoot to watch.
They do a very good job, and the other thing in the cinematography, it's not just in the shooting of it in terms of like how beautiful the frame is and this and that, but they can make a tiny room. They'll shoot it from 6 angles, and you will feel an emotion with every angle, and you're like, holy crap, like he's sitting at a bed in a tiny like hotel room, and they shot it from the front, the back, the corner, looking up at him heroically, like, oh my God, and like
just put a camera up in the corner.
Yeah, actually,
I would leave it there.
Exactly. I would say for if you're an aspiring director or cinematographer or even writer, this is a go-to show to see.
Yeah.
Like they basically take away any excuse. Well, it was a bad set. The lighting wasn't so great. So no, if you know what you're doing, you can light crap and make it look amazing. The other thing that's amazing,
even walking down a hall, and the camera's moving with the person, and for some reason this hall just looks like a hallway, and for some reason this hallway just looks like, whoa, where is this? And it's just a normal hallway. It's just how they shot it, and it's all a single shot. They didn't cut 4 times to get him down the hall.
And then they also do a lot of this front to back focus when they do these reverse looks where you'll have one character that's deep background and they'll do a cutaway to focus, and you get to see everything that's happening. They're not eliminating anything for you, and that's how they're building the tension, because shit's going down in the room while 2 people are having a conversation over here. And it's those cutaways and those people in the background. You're going, what the heck is going on here? And
in the comic book store, especially.
Yes, and we can get into this right away. When I got introduced to this, that was the scene I saw. It was on the internet. My buddy sent me the link, and he said, "Just watch this." And that scene is what they put on as promotion. That intro scene on the internet, and they got a little bit in trouble for it because it's quite a graphic scene, but man, it is so compelling. And it ends with a weird floppy bunny dancing in slow motion. You're like, what the hell?
What the hell was that?
And it opens with like fields and blue skies. Like it's such a weird.
Oh, and the colors are very exaggerated.
Oh, it's so fantastic.
Well, it's a graphic novel. I think what they've done is that they've set a palette just like a graphic novel, and they've
it's about a graphic novel, so yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's very sophisticated.
Life as a graphic novel. Graphic novels reflects life, right? And they're blurring the boundaries between the two, right?
Yeah, but they start in the comic book store, and they just blow it out from there. This ain't no graphic novel. We're out of here. We're out of the comic book store.
Yeah, but then the next scene, somebody's pitching a graphic novel.
Oh,
This is a comic book. Yeah. No, it's a graphic novel. It's great. It's
but to tell you the truth, I saw the first scene, and it was like, oh, no, wait a minute. What the hell was that? And I went back and I had to watch it again.
Yeah.
Just because there was so much going on.
And you know what? On fourth rewatch, it's even deeper in terms of how powerful the forces are in this thing. When we get into this, what they get away with in that store, they get away with.
But that's once again, it's all foreshadowing. It's like
yes.
Actually, I have a question. Yeah. What they got away with? Did they actually kill those people with that gas? Or
So
they are dead. So there's no record yet of any blowback to their activities.
Somebody went back to the store, and the guy and the girl
later on the show.
Went back to the store next door, and he came out and said they're all dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said they all died of a gas leak.
Yeah.
Now, The first guy didn't die of a gas leak. He died of a lead pipe to the head.
Yeah,
bled out. And in the first,
but he used the gas pipe. He used the gas pipe, so that's the whole thing. He was blasting with a gas pipe.
That it blew off the wall or something, right? But here's the funny thing, though, is he immediately walks through the blood pool like he doesn't give a shit if he's going to get caught.
Sure.
So that tells you in an instant who you're dealing with. And it's so funny, the way he gets the guy to walk to him, turns him around, and then whacks him.
Yeah, and it happens again later on in the show. I mean, I think it's in the second season. It happens. It's like, oh my god, he's gonna try it again. I can't believe it. The guy's a psycho.
And who's going to expect that? You know, I mean, well, the guy's holding up a pipe.
That's the most unexpected move to me was a screwdriver in the throat.
Oh, that was like a joke. There you go.
Whoa.
Wow. We're just going to list off the deaths then, right? All the way people get murdered. And to me, my favorite, honestly, is where he just literally pushes that guy off with a finger off the top.
I kind of expected that one to happen, though.
Threaten him, and he just goes, okay, we're done here. Fuck.
Yep. I was kind of hoping Wilson wasn't going to...
Well, I'm gonna guys. I'm gonna dial it back because this is a question-based thing. I know it's been a fun 10-minute rant.
We'll get into it.
So we're gonna dial it back. So basically, the first question is best character, and I'm gonna throw this one to let's give it to Tony.
Best scene.
Best character, and so that is development of a character or just a great character.
I'm going to go with the most endearing character to me, and I liked Wilson Wilson. I just love that name. What? Who's going to believe that's a real name?
Yeah. Which, once again, is foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Also, I love Wilson Wilson. What happens to Wilson? For sure. Awesome answer. I would say let's go to Ken for.
Well, I kind of felt that, Wilson for sure for me, and in other circumstances he'd probably be labeled as a delusional paranoid, but if he is, then so are all of us because we watched the show. I certainly became paranoid right along with him. So. It was, it wasn't a stretch for him to make me believe what he was going through in his brain.
Yeah.
You want to see my bomb shelter?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
great pickup line.
Well, you know what's funny is does he offer that before he offers the Russian vodka that's going to make them go blind? Like, is that?
Yeah,
that's
they got that tell, by the way. It's gonna make him go blind. And it's like, oh, Wilson. Oh.
No worries.
And then his father's name is Milton Wilson.
Yeah, I know. Yes. Okay, Jay Dean.
I've got two choices, but one is in terms of the first episode is because in the show this character has the biggest balls out of anybody in the entire show. Mm-hmm. And that's Grant, the little kid.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The 11-year-old. He literally risks life and limb to save that manuscript in the mouth of the demon and escapes. And as 11-year-old out on his own, and he's quite comical where he tries to steal that guy's car and then
put shit in his hand.
Rub shit in his hand, and then later stabs him in the thigh, and then jumps out of a third-story window out of the school.
Into a tree. Yeah.
So he to me is super amazing, and he doesn't really say too many words except for what he types, and he writes like he's a 24-year-old dude, right? Because in the first episode,
persona, yes.
He has a persona, so he's like, I fuck models, and I drive sports.
I'm a day trader.
I'm not going there. What if I get raped?
What if I get raped? And it's like, oh, okay.
Now, for people listening, I just got to say, there is so many. This is almost like watching Utopia. There's so many inside jokes going on here.
Yeah.
You're going to have to watch Utopia and then listen to the show again because it's like, oh, that's what they meant. Okay. And what was this? So, what was your second character, big guy?
The second one is Arby,
awesome,
who
Arby.
is the lead killer who says only like one line throughout the entire first episode.
He probably blew it 10 times.
Yes, and it is the line of the episode, except for the ending of the episode, which is the answer to the line.
Yes.
He, to me, reminds me of like Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men. He's got that super, super creepy, but he looks harmless, but he looks like he will eat you. Like he's just frightening beyond all measure. And all he does is stare and turn his head like this dog, just staring at you, trying to decide which part of you he's going to like bite into. But he's got a killer that's with him that does all the business. That really kind of does it, although he's the one who pushes the guy off the roof. And that's the thing why that's so powerful, that scene, is because he just pushes him with his finger. It's like, ugh. Like, you expect him to be violent, but yeah. And the offering of raisins to people, and it is the creepiest. He's like pedophilic, like crazy. Blah, he's just so gross. He's great.
The Arby character. I mean, he looks like he just got out of bed and threw something on. I mean, I've looked like that when I headed down to the corner store and I couldn't find the right clothes. I mean, just throw anything on, throw a leather jacket over it, and you're good to go. And there was the costume designer is either brilliant or didn't get there for the first day.
And either way they went, let's run with this because this makes it creepier. This guy, oh my God. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting about this, and it reminds me a little bit of Breaking Bad, is the guy that played the character of the lawyer in Breaking Bad. He basically went to the director and says, "I've got the character in my head. I know exactly." And he got his own wardrobe, figured out his own wardrobe. This show kind of reminds me of like the guy that played Arby, the guy that played
Grant as well,
Lee, the Psycho Rockabilly guy. Basically, they say, yeah, I got a picture in my head. I know exactly. I'm just going to go down a costume and what do you think? And then coming on set and say, this is it, guys. And everyone say, oh, beautiful. I could definitely, I kind of get a lot of everybody gets why they're on set. Everybody gets why they're their actor and are totally in tune with it. That's one of the reasons this is such a brilliant show. I mean, the acting, the guy Arby, who's playing basically this very sensitive. I mean, he's a very sensitive man because he has no feelings or emotion at all, which you find out about later. And his decision to kill or not kill is the sense of should I put butter on this toast or not. In fact, we probably have more angst about putting butter on our toast than he has about killing somebody. So it's that vapid, disconnected with that part of reality. He's still in reality. I mean, and it is wonderful. Later on in the show, he has a relationship with somebody, with the family in a kind of a weird way. But it doesn't matter. He's still a functioning human being, but there's a part of him that has been broken, and that broken part is what our society decides whether you're normal or not.
And that kind of came out. That kind of came out as well when they were in the comic book store and the kid was underneath the table.
And
he's,
dog.
Oh, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Don't put the gas away.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah. Have a little treat, and now I'm gonna get my buddies.
Yeah. Every time he offers those raisins, kids, a little warning, run. Hey, I got raisins.
So for my two guys, I'm going to say, I've kind of talked to them already, Arby and Lee, the Psycho Rockabilly guy. I just love them as a team. They're amazing. That's why I bunched them together. And what's fascinating is as you start watching, you get into episode 3, 4, 5, stuff happens to that team, and you really say, wow, how is he going to survive without that guy, or how's that going to work out? And it's neat. I really appreciate what they do, and then later on in the series, you get they do a wow thing for you. I'm not going to tell anybody because it's a nice surprise.
We'll get there, but what's really interesting is in this first episode. Oh my God! Like they so much happens in this first episode.
Well, they have to introduce all the characters.
Yeah, and they introduced all these characters. They also, like, you know, have torture, murder. Like they end people's lives to
Blackmail.
start
Yeah,
people
like
down
they're
the road.
introducing characters that you think are going to be part
Everybody
of the show.
gets burned by like some kind of criminal thing, like the infrastructure, the deep evil infrastructure that's going on in the background. They introduce that in the most subtle way, where you're not even sure. You just know that all these people are fucked. Like, just everybody's fucked by the end of the episode. And it really, like, I've never had a TV show this much after the end of the first episode go, what the hell? Let's go.
Yeah,
Like,
I gotta watch that again. Yeah.
You can't end it like, okay, so wait, they tortured this person, and then that person did this and this and that. What? What's going on?
I must have missed something. Yeah, I did find myself with watching the first season, in some parts watching it and going like 5 minutes saying, whoa, I must have got the shows in wrong order, because that doesn't make any, and go back and rewatch a half a show and then saying, oh no, okay, and then watching the next show and still not getting the answer, and then watching the next show and going, oh, now they're gonna tell me. Oh, silly me. They decided to just take 45 minutes of my life and just suspend it. It is amazing, the crazy writing that went on, and it's very ballsy as a show. I mean, so ballsy.
And not just writing, directing. Like, think about those two characters that you love. They could easily be so over the top that they're absolutely unbelievable or ridiculous. A guy offering kids raisins before he murders them, like you don't. It sounds like so comic book that it wouldn't work. But it works. The director reined everybody in, so they only put out what you need to go, oh, holy shit. Yeah. Oh, wow. And it's just enough of line to get you in the pool again and again and again. It's so
I think
cool.
that's what we're talking about, the difference between American and British, is that they know how to imply things to make suggestive by just simply showing, rather than get into a large production fanfare.
They trust that the audience is gonna put this together.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference we'll see in the American is it'll probably be longer than 6 episodes, and so there'll be lots of explanation of what the big secret network is. There'll be lots of over explanation, because otherwise people won't get it. It's like,
then they'll recap every time they come back from a commercial, because we can't remember what happened 3 minutes ago.
Last week on blah blah blah.
Oh no, not even last week. From break to break.
Yeah, like
recap what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move painfully and quickly forward here to our second question, because we're 21 minutes into the show already.
We're griping about a show that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, you know. Hey, you know. Well,
this is our early review.
Well, you know,
welcome to the early review.
There are presidents, guys. There are lots of presidents for that. We're going to be going on to the best scene. I'm going to throw JD under the bus for this one. What was the best scene? And there's one. JD, there's one.
Okay, there's 2 actually.
I knew it. I had 5. I can get it down to 2, Bob.
Don't take mine, okay?
But I know people are going to choose one, so I'm going to go for the second one. And the reason I'm going to go for the second one, because the subtleties of the scene are fantastic, and the way they cut around what's going on without leaving the desperate nature of this torture scene that happens, they leave you inside of it the whole way, where you're just like imagining, and the way they display all the implements of torture, the way he simply talks about why he likes it this way, and he goes, I don't like to mess around, and the way he doesn't, I thought there would be this, beat him up for 5 or 10 minutes or do something, but no. When he's got Wilson in the chair, and he's got chili peppers.
Oh no, sand.
No.
Yeah, he's got chili peppers.
Chili peppers, sand, bleach.
That was
and
it.
a spoon.
Yeah.
And he tells them all 4 of the items. He tells the audience all 4 of the items, and then he liberally applies each one of those items, pausing for a moment so his friend can ask a question.
Yes.
And the whole time, Wilson is saying, And Wilson is saying, "I will cooperate. I will cooperate."
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what he does. Wilson
Yeah.
is in a no-win situation.
Sure.
The
And
guy's
that's
going to
what I'm
go
saying.
ahead and do it.
No, stop. The guy brought a head brace to attach
Mm.
to the back of a chair so he could lock his head in place because
Yeah.
this is what he does.
Yeah.
This is
And
his
like,
favorite thing.
and the way they shoot it, where you go behind Wilson's back, you look up from his face and you see the bleach burning his eyes and the
Yeah,
chili.
yeah.
And I don't know how they did it, but I believed it 100%, man.
Yeah.
I believed it 100%. They even had the gall that after they put the bleach in, it's all black, right? He's gone to black.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have the spoon now. and you're like, what the fuck?
It's enough already. I'm
He
being I'm
said he
watching.
was going to cooperate. I like Wilson. Stop.
Yeah, he goes,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
goes, and my friend here is just going to ask you one more time, you know? And it's just, it's fantastic. It is.
And you have
like,
no
it
idea
upset-
why they're asking this question.
No.
Yeah, it made me
None.
nauseous. It really worked. I think it, like, hands down, beside the other scene that I'm sure guys will talk about, but that one, they pulled zero punches, and I have a memory of that, like, forever.
Yeah. No, it was definitely an awesome scene. Tony, with that, I'm going to throw you under the bus.
All right. Well, my favorite scene was the undressing when they're in the bunker when he got his shirt stuck over his head.
That was funny.
Nice.
That was
This
good.
is also an example of where British have that kind of humor down pat. It just comes across so naturally, and you just go, "Oh yeah, I know that."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Been there.
it-
Been
it
there.
just-
Got that T-shirt. Yeah.
not with the guy who's passed out in the corner, mind you. And certainly not in a
a
shelter.
box.
Haven't done that, but you know, the shirt thing, I can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just as a night out before anything goes crazy and you got this, like, you know, night of drunken romance.
In a
whatever.
bunker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they first come together, smack, like
Yeah.
it was just
yeah.
it must have actually hurt. Like you couldn't see them filming that without them actually doing some damage.
Yeah.
It just looked too real.
Yeah,
Well,
and
once-
like almost ripping his ear off, pulling his shirt over his head, tripping, and yeah. It felt real natural, like, and in the middle of it. And you know what? What an amazing scene to make you, like, appreciate the characters. You just met them. You set up this craziness to begin with, and now right away you get that. Oh, is that ever cool? They did the same thing with Grant, with him and his mom, and introducing him. And it's like, yeah, that's who he is.
You immediately knew where he was coming from.
And you immediately felt for the kid, and then he's in the worst, like, threatening thing of his life, and he still performs amazingly for an 11-year-old. I would have just shit my pants. And,
Hey, he's British. They're tough.
oh yeah, it's the stiff upper lip and all.
Exactly. Ken, what do you got for us?
Well, although those two scenes, I did like them. Actually, my favorite one was Becky in the office with the two interviewers.
Some good
Oh,
lines.
really?
That back and forth for me was just, it was because it was right at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And you know, there's just been a murder, and then they go into this office, and I sat there for the whole time with my mouth hanging open, wondering what the hell is going on here. And she's arguing about a graphic novel, and if it was an interview, I mean, she starts yelling at the two people, and all they go is, oh, gee whiz.
Yep.
No pissed off, no, you know, bring out a gun and shoot anybody. They just kind of sat there and took it, and she just kept handing it out.
Yeah.
I loved that back and forth.
My
Well,
favorite lines in there.
Well, you know what? That scene I liked a lot because I think it's very true to life. You're going into an interview, you're pitching a concept or a creative idea, and the people that are in a position of power but are totally uneducated about what you're
don't
presenting
get it.
to them.
And they just keep yammering away.
Yeah, it's
Can
like
I talk?
it's like a vapant reality. It's like
Yeah.
whatever. You know, we're the important people in the room. You are
Mhm.
not.
Speaking in buzzwords to communicate nothing.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then
I
getting totally pissed off about it. I mean, she's a great character, and her it actually reminds me a lot of some of the people in Doctor Who, where the characters are so true to their personality, their core personality. It comes across as totally authentic, and
Yep.
she is just a very angry, frustrated young woman. Amazing, amazing.
Yeah. She's a really
You
good
get an
actor.
explanation for that
Yeah.
about her though later.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Well,
absolutely. I
yeah,
mean,
there's a lot going
everything's
on with
foreshadowing.
her, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
they do one scene where you see where she goes through a drawer, and it's just a drawer full of medication and notes, and she takes some pills, and
Yeah.
you know, it's not revealed till later, but it's like, oh, what the heck's going on with her? So there's something else going on, and she talks about her father, and then so there is some desperate energy to her, and she played it really well, strong and desperate at the same time.
And it's an interesting mystery when it plays out and she presents the pieces of the puzzle. It's a very interesting mystery.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. All of a sudden, big pieces start getting added, and you're starting to think, oh, okay, that's what's sort of okay, and she helps you sort out. Maybe that's why I like her, because she helped to put some of the bigger pieces together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we lose Bob?
No, you didn't lose me.
Oh,
I
no,
just lost my camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The actress is Alexandra Roach, and she is
Yeah.
quite amazing. We actually just saw her in one of the pilot episodes we did.
Yes, yes. She's one of the
and
detectives.
she played Welsh, and
Yes.
it was fantastic.
I love
she
her
did a
accent,
great
too.
job in that too. I really like her, and when I see her, I get excited to see her in anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and Ian, just a quick thing. Ian is from the Misfits.
Misfits, yes,
Yes.
loved him.
Yes.
actually, you know, with just my image here, I look much more handsome like this. Anyways, I'm just gonna say that my favorite scene was obviously the opening scene, the comic book store.
Nice.
I know everybody loved it. We talked about it ad nauseum, so we don't have to talk about it a lot more. But I think that what I loved about that one, not only the foreshadowing, but I think what they did in that one scene was to show you the whole show.
Yep.
That's the show right there.
Or the preview. Yes.
Well, not the
It's
preview.
the culture of it.
It's exactly. It hits
Yeah.
all the core things. There's mystery. There's confusion. There's psychoactivity. There's people begging for their life. You're in this comic book reality. It's a semi-closed store, so there's weird entrancing, people saying stuff, and then and so we're closed, and then them just coming in and coming in, coming. I mean, that scene, that particular line where he says we're closed, and they just come in and they don't say anything, was exactly what was happening to Wilson when he was being tortured. So it was a microcosm of what was going to play out, and I didn't realize that until I watched the show 3 times. I said, "Oh my God, this is the show right there." Very, very, very well done.
Yeah.
Pacing, culture, lighting, camera work, acting, interaction, camera depth. They cover everything, and the music, the introduction of the music too, which is a character in this thing.
Yeah.
It is so creepy and weird sometimes, and so powerful at other times. That whole scene is a microcosm of the whole piece.
But then they add that the at the end of that they do the rabbit jumping around with a little plastic bucket.
But
and you think, okay.
But the thing is the rabbit. You don't realize until later on the show the rabbit is that's what it's all about, is a rabbit. Mr. Rabbit.
Yeah, don't tell me that. I want to know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they say what the rabbit is at the beginning, like right in that interview when
I know, but do they explain why the rabbit is there?
Oh well, no. The
it's about him. It's
I'll find that out. I'll find that out later.
Yeah, it's not a guy and a bunny rabbit, that's for sure. But
it's the presence of the author that keeps repeated throughout, right?
Yeah, well, and the other thing that's introduced in that scene that I found amazing, and it was shot many, many times, was the introduction of the plastic tool bag,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
how it's always
Yep.
shot. You know, it's put to the floor, and the camera is always on the same level. It's never shot
Yeah.
down. It's always
Yeah.
on the level, and you never see inside it for the whole
Yeah.
series. Nobody ever looks. But the stuff that comes out of this bag is terrorizing.
Yeah.
And every
A
time you
bright
see the
yellow
bag,
bag.
yeah,
Bright
Yeah, it's like
yellow
an
bag.
IKEA bag or something like that.
You can buy those at Home Depot, and they're actually tool bags.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's from now on.
So I figured that was appropriate. That's his tool bag.
There's a lot of yellow in this show. Lots of bright yellow throughout
Yeah,
the show.
yeah, and turquoise.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about weirdest or most confusing scene, and because it sounds like we're repeating ourselves, but we're not. There anything that has a visual effect, weirdness, a plot moving forward weirdness, or a wow factor scene, because there's so many. I wanted to put that question as a standalone. So let's start with Ken. Ken, what do you say for weirdest or
Well,
most confusing scene?
most confused. Well, there was one storyline that I found the most confusing, and that was Jeff. I had no idea what Jeff was about. He's the guy who's buying the drugs and trying to convince, and he's got the two guys on his case, and they're threatening him, but you don't know why they're threatening him or why he has to do one thing. He's constantly sweating, and I'm just this whole. I mean, nothing was revealed, so I don't know how I would understand it, but I thought, oh, okay, hopefully there's more of this to come.
Oh yeah, there is.
And
Which ones?
but it was very slow coming out, and then right at the end, the wife is there, and
I think you're not talking about the first episode, though, Ken. I think you're talking about the second episode.
no, the first episode.
Have you watched 2 episodes?
I did watch 2, but in the first one, doesn't he talk with he gets the Russian call?
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're saying Jeff. It's Michael, right?
Oh, Michael.
Talking about Michael, or Jeff is his boss? Or are you talking about his
Jeff
boss?
is the boss. Oh, okay, sorry. Michael. Yeah, Michael's
Yeah, the incompetent minister.
Yeah,
the incompetent minister. Yeah.
and him and his wife. Then, yeah.
Yeah.
But his whole storyline was just. I just wanted to get to something that I had already seen other than that, because it was just too confusing.
I think that's and Bob and I talked about this a little bit, and that's one of the scenes that I chose as well, is that there's these 2 not so subplots that they're all necessary in the bigger story, but in this first episode, it's really about the group of 4 and the killers pursuing them and what's going on there. These 2 not so subplots, the Russian flu vaccine and the pregnant Russian prostitute. And how she's
but you don't even find that you don't even find that out in the first episode.
Yes, you do.
The pregnant girl.
Yeah, there's actually.
That's one of the last scenes.
Yeah, she's there. She apologizes to him, and then she actually puts his hand on her tummy
phone
to feel the baby.
Oh.
So there's 2 hotel scenes, and that's their hotel. That's the prostitute who's been suing.
Oh, I see.
And
okay.
emotionally, it's gigantic because he can't impregnate his wife, but here he goes and impregnates a prostitute.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
dude.
Oops. Yeah, and so that becomes the leverage that they use in order for him to push through the Russian flu vaccine. Yeah. But they are these subplots, and same thing. They're somewhat confusing, but it is so vital to the bigger story as you move forward.
I didn't know whether that was his wife, because she was he and his wife were doing the in vitro stuff.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, putting the hand on it, hopefully this time it worked.
Yeah.
So I didn't know whether that was the girlfriend or the hooker or whatever.
Well, the other thing too that's really, really interesting about this whole scenario is they do basically get this guy, railroad this guy into doing stuff. And the way it's done, and this is where I don't think they're in the States they're going to be able to handle this much subtlety. It's like, I'm going to send you on a mission.
Yes.
And you're going to have an assignment or something like
Yes.
that. It uses 2 words. And then the only hint you get of it is in conversations with key people. They say, well, it looks like you've got a new mission. And then they go on, and the guy thinks, it's like, wow, have I just been, was that my mission? There's no explanation.
Activated.
I gotta pay attention to.
It's very, very subtle stuff. Like, I remember watching that, I say, oh, hang on, so you're confused just like he's confused. That's how sophisticated this stuff is.
Oh, okay, good.
I do not think that the North American rewrite will be able to handle that, because the suits will get involved and go like, well, hang on, what? No, people would have to rewatch it twice to understand, to say, yes, that's what cult's about. No. We have to figure it out. Can't we have a sign, or can't somebody explain it, or can we have an announcer?
With the American broadcast, you know what people could do is they could tune into Crazy TV Talk, and we'll tell them what it means.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
I'm still not really sure what the motivation was for that mission. What was the purpose? Like,
well,
they
you
wanted to
wait.
get rid of the boss?
Yeah,
you gotta watch the whole.
It's yet to come.
You gotta watch the whole. You gotta watch all those episodes.
They do this great thing with Threads for that. I mean, you're not really sure who he is and who he isn't. Like, in terms of his wife is introduced on a phone call, and to me, this is another powerful scene. He's in a hotel room. Okay, he's got a printout of what do you call that, with the baby?
The CAT scan or whatever.
Yeah, it looks like he's about to commit suicide.
It's an ultrasound, and it says, your Russian whore is pregnant. Like, they don't even know how to spell anything. And he's got a giant bottle of gin and tons of pills, and he's about to end it all there at his little love hotel. And then his wife calls, and he says, yeah, let's go to the in vitro tomorrow. Let's get you that baby you want. And then the Russian guy calls, and I got a mission for you. And he pours out the alcohol and the pills. Like, he has a mission now. It's really interesting, because it's quite fucking literal that he makes a decision in that moment not to kill himself.
But he's not happy with himself. It's not like an Americanization. Oh, now I have a mission. I feel strong, and I'm gonna. He's a weak, immoral character. Yeah, and God, like, I can't kill myself because nobody has given me permission to do that. The people that are evil have told me, oh, sorry, I'm no longer allowed to do that.
Imagine how much the show would have changed if his reaction was not that, and it was instead, oh, by the way, honey, don't worry about that in vitro thing. I figured out a solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it would have been just.
They didn't have you writing for the show.
Yay! Maybe I'll get the American job, eh?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, you know what? If they do a good job on the American show, we will be eating humble pie. I tell you.
Yes. Well, I'll eat my words.
And happily.
And I'll never have to eat my words.
Okay, so who's up for weirdest, most confusing scene? We kind of all jumped in there. I started with Ken.
Jump in there, yeah.
Subplots. Tony, what about yourself?
I talked about the motivation behind that. I think it's probably good that, since this is the first show that we talk about, we at least identify where things can be confusing for people when they just start.
Yeah.
So I think there is like some motivation factors where, with him and why he's doing it, and also with sorry, I've forgotten her name. Becky. Becky's got a deeper mission, and it's kind of, there's an intensity to her that's going on, and those are the kind of threads that I saw. But other than that, Bob, did you have any?
Yeah, well, I had 3. I'm the weirdest, most confusing scene, or most intense scene. Wilson losing an eye, but we've talked about that. That was very intense. And then the other one was man getting stabbed in the alley because he put Wilson's name in the computer. And remember, there's that one scene where he puts Wilson's name in, and then deletes it,
and then deletes it.
Back he says, what's the harm? And then boom, the next time you see the guy, he gets killed.
That's not a guy. That's a cop. He just murdered a cop in the middle of a street. with the
Right.
thing to his throat.
But I
And
mean,
this
the
is
show, he's just another guy. I mean,
this
like
is
nobody
right.
else.
What's characteristic about this being the very first show? It's a pilot. They're introducing characters, and throughout this whole mess of characters, new characters are introducing. They're giving you a reason to believe people like that cop are going to be around for a while, and then suddenly they're gone.
Yeah.
What? Hold
Yeah.
on, hold on. Who are the main characters? So by the time I'm really liking Wilson, and he's being tortured, I'm thinking, oh no,
They're
they're
gonna
not
take
going
him
to get
out.
rid of this guy too.
Now he's
Aw.
gonna die. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah, no way he'll survive this.
Yeah.
And then the last one for me was Becky explaining the genetic mutations. So it was she was explaining it to Ian,
Yes.
and he was saying, "What's this all about?" And then she just goes on this huge explanation about, here's the genetic mutation, and da da da. And so, well, that's not so bad. No, but when this was made in such and such a time, and he wasn't around, da, 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 da.
Yes.
And this once again is foreshadowing because there is a lot of back and forth stuff and
Oh,
flashbacks.
that's
So confusing, so fascinating, and by the time you finish this season, it's all wrapped back in its beautiful package, and you have to watch the whole season again, because then when you're watching, you say, "Oh my God, they talked about it in the first," and oh my God, and they say, "Oh my, it's been so obvious." So that's what's fascinating about this show is, and with all great TV series, that the arcs that the writers have put in there, saying, you know what, let's spill the beans in the first episode, and let's spill the beans in the second, and then arc it through. And by the time somebody gets to the last episode of that season, you want to go back.
Yeah,
it all hinges right on that one central fact, the discrepancy between these two things occurring, and everything gets built around all of that, like it layers on an onion.
Oh, it was brilliantly done. So, anyways, I'm very, very pleased with that. Go ahead.
Talk about that scene just for a sec. Again, it's two people in a room, and they reveal the craziness that's going on in that room. Like, she's been thinking about this and dealing with this for quite some time, and they do these like slow pullbacks. They'll start in a corner, and then you'll start to go, oh, they're in utter chaos, and she's manic right now, and things are going on, and it's two people having a discussion in a room, but they give it a tremendous amount of life and growth, and shoot it with ice. It must be 8 different sizes of shots in a small period of time, and it's amazing, and they're huge, full frames. That's a powerful scene too.
Well, the thing is also in that thing is they shot with the light coming through the window, and there's all sorts of lens flare, and they just shot it anyways. So it's very raw. A lot of the footage they're shooting, even though it's beautifully produced and stuff, it's not a technical mistake, and it's not a style mistake. It was put there on purpose to be irritating to the person watching it, so that you felt that the way that they felt. Nothing is a mistake in the show. If you watch the show and say, "Oh, wow, they really blew that scene," you don't get it intellectually. Rewatch it. Keep your thinking cap on.
Rewatch.
This is another reason I think that the
Do not watch
universal
while
of the show
velocity
can
casting.
Yeah, exactly. The U.S. show will not be able to be that good.
Screen stacking is not permitted, and this is where they're going with shows. Screen stacking, that's an actual phenomenon. People are watching their television shows with multiple devices.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to best line, which should be a free for all. I've got 3. So if you've got more than one, you get one, and then we'll do another round, and you can drop another bombshell.
I've only got one.
Okay, well we'll start with Jay Dean.
Now I gotta. Oh, you know what it is? It's actually the phone conversation from the Russian dude.
Oh, really?
And it's just a series of lines, and the way he says it and how he says it in the broken Russian, I just found so powerful. So it's after he's had that phone call with his wife, the Russian calls, and he goes, "You got my whore pregnant. You think this is game? We play game, spy game. I have friends. Do mission for my friends. Yeah? You do what we say, or I fuck your life." And he hangs up, and I'm like, "Woo! All right, very neat."
Yeah.
Whatever you need.
Yeah. No, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Tony, what do you got for us?
Oh, when they're in the interview and they're talking about it's a graphic novel, it's a comic book, no, it's a graphic novel, and then she sets up like the description of the author meeting Satan in various forms, and in one form is a rabbit. And that's when they respond, the interviewers on the other side, I don't remember which one says, oh, it's about him. It's hardly original. I mean, Bukowski. And then the other guy goes, mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. Okay, awesome. Okay, Ken, what do you got for us?
When Becky and Ian and Wilson are in the pub, and Wilson's sitting there, and he keeps trying to get closer to Ian, and Ian's kind of backing away, and they all three stand up, and Wilson says Becky. And Ian looks at Wilson and says, "Are you Wilson Wilson? And why are you wearing blue?" I don't look good in blue. What?
Yeah.
That looks good.
They all have really solid character intros. They do a very good job. Her in the interview, Wilson in the pub, and Ian with his fucking boss.
IT boss.
Like, that's awesome.
Which plays out brilliantly. There's 2 or 3 scenes.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe nobody chose this one, so I'm going to jump in there, and it was basically the closing shot. Hello, I'm Jessica Hyde. I think it's probably the most mind-fucking line in the whole thing, because you're like, what?
Because Murder Guy said it like 15 times.
I've got to go start to watch this thing from the start, because I was like, oh no. So because I felt that this was going to be going on for the whole arc of the season, and they shut that arc right down and introduce this very serious character, and they introduce her with one line. They open the door, this woman who looks a little haggard, she just says, hello, I'm Jessica Hyde. Boom, cut to black, and you're, what and so boom, straight to the next episode. So it is brilliantly done that way.
Who's your first thought to be the person at the door?
I thought it was cops or the psycho guys. I mean, really, I thought it was the what was his name?
I thought it was going to be Grant.
I thought it was going
to be Grant, actually.
I thought it was going to be Grant.
Oh, really?
He's pretty resourceful, so I kind of thought that, but then I guess that he hasn't contacted them since, so it kind of didn't make sense the moment it was this really hard banging, too. It was loud, hard banging.
Yeah.
So. But
no way did I think it was going to be Jessica Hyde.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
I didn't think she was going to show up at all.
Totally left field.
So
I thought she was a metaphor.
Definitely, this show's full of spoilers. By the way, if you're listening to the show, and you haven't watched the first one, sorry. Okay, so
but we didn't even introduce the show. We didn't even say what it was about to begin with. So
that's true.
Just deep into it. Yeah.
It's a show you cannot describe what it's about. You cannot describe the show. You just got to watch it. Okay, does anybody have another line? Because I got 2 more.
Yeah.
Okay, JD, what do you got?
I've got it's the interaction with Ian with his boss, and he's got 2 parts of it, but I'll just go with the second part of it. Actually, I do have one question. Martin's penis, is that a meaty taste or is it more salty?
Yeah.
Very witty, Ian. So smart. Just
And
not
this is
think of
into his
that
body.
you got the job in hand. Like, I love British humor. I love how cutting it is and how to the quick it is. It's so good.
Yeah, it was very graphic, but only on an intellectual level for sure. Any other lines from Tony and Ken?
Nope.
My penis isn't working.
Oh.
You know, which is ironic.
Segue perfectly.
I was waiting for an opening on that one.
Okay. I got a number 2, which was, and we talked about this already, but don't put the gas away yet. Basically, when Arby has given the candy, the third the third person in the record store, the little boy who's about 12 years old. He's hiding under the record, just like cowering because he's seen 3 people being murdered, and so he gives him a candy, and he just turns to the left and says, don't put the gas away yet. It's like, wow, they're gonna take this kid out, and then it's cut. And then that cuts to the rabbit dancing in front of the store. I mean, it's such a crazy, crazy cut. And then you get this huge utopia, and that's the first time you see. That's the opening credit. That's like boom, the name of the show.
Yeah.
All caps, Utopia.
No director's name, no assistant director, no any of that stuff. No stars, no anything. It's just Utopia, and dive into the show.
Okay, JD, you got one more, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's actually in that. There's one of the guys in the comic shop does this amazing job where he just is so scared to run that he's asking for permission of things, and it's like, oh, can I go? Can I just go, please? And he's like, not yet. It's okay. This'll just make you sleep is all. What? Really? And he's just so like, oh, thanks. Like, shucks. Like, after he's seen somebody talk with Mike, like, he played it so amazingly, and he's just this bit guy, but the way they both played that dance, it was awesome.
Yeah. And that's the great introduction to the ultraviolence, because that is how real violence happens to real people. You're getting mugged. That's exactly what happens. It's like guy pulls a gun, he pulls a knife, and they say, give me your money, and you go like, oh yeah, I'm going to beat you up. It's like, oh, okay, what do you want to do? You're trying to get through that scene. You're trying to survive, and whoever is the person in power, you believe that they're just there for one thing, and they're not, and you're hoping that you're not going to die. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. For me,
David Lynch does the American one. It would do a good job. Much of this reminds me of him.
Yeah. When I'm talking with JD, and I said it reminded me a lot of Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks,
yeah.
Or
definitely Twin Peaks level.
Yeah, the one with it was the movie that with the ear with Kyle MacLachlan. The ear was found in the grass.
Yes. That Blue Velvet.
Yeah. Blue Velvet. Yes.
Similar feel to it too, for sure. So my last one is when the minister talks to, like, the minister basically gets taken out. He's not there for very long. But basically, the minister talks to Michael Dugdale and says, Russian flu, I might as well put a gun to my head. And what happens after that in the next 3 or 4 episodes, you realize, like, wow, he had no idea. So, and once again, another amazing foreshadowing line.
Nice, teasing us.
Ken, I know.
Do you have another line? Ken, did you have another line?
No, I didn't have another one. No.
Well, now we can go. Just had the one. We can go straight on to the scores. So I'm going to ask JD, what did you do as far as this one for score? Now, this is at a 5, and just let the people listening, there's no such thing as a 5. A 4.9 is as high as you can go. 5, there's no such thing because that's perfection. So based on that, what would you give it as a score?
So I'm going to be a little bit careful because I've watched this season a while ago. I've watched it twice before over the last 2 years. So this is my 3rd time watching it, and I've forgotten it enough that I'm really enjoying it because I'm doing weird connective tissue in my brain while I'm watching it. The other thing I want to keep in mind is that, and this will be different for everybody, but I don't want to go too high on the first episode because as the story progresses, I know how deep this rabbit hole goes. So I'm going to say it's 4.4 for me.
A what?
A 4.4.
All right, very nicely done. All right, let's throw it over to Ken.
Well, for me, I didn't have that whole thing. I watched the first one and thought, okay, this is very, very strange. So I'm actually starting off with a 3.7.
Wow.
But definitely intrigued, and I'm sure that it's gonna very quickly push beyond. Very quickly push beyond 4. But for that initial thing, there just wasn't enough revealed for me to give it a higher thing, and it left me just so what the hell's going on?
There's
It was
Yeah,
a little bit. But I do want to say that even though they didn't complete. I mean, it's like they didn't finish half the sentences, so you never kind of knew where it was going. But they finished just enough of the sentence, so I'm going, oh, I wanted to know that. It's not exasperating where you think, oh, well, I don't care about that. They made you bite just hard enough that they left you. Okay, I wanted to hear the end of that.
See, for me, that's why I do a 4.4, because it's like, thank you for doing something that's completely different than other people are doing, and not overdoing it or underdoing it.
Yeah.
It's like you get the perfect steak, and when you get a perfect steak, it's like, oh, I don't know if I'll get another one like this, so I'm going to really enjoy this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job of that, of hooking you in enough where you have to go forward.
Yes.
Tony.
And not leaving you cold.
Yeah,
I tend to go in the opposite direction as you can. When you said, "Oh, it's weird," I'm not really sure. You rated it lower. For me, it's like, "Oh, it's weird." Yes, like I'm gonna do that.
Such a sicko, Tony. What a sicko.
I wanted to give this a 4 point. Well, I can't give it a 5. I can't give it a 4.9 because this is just the first episode.
Yeah,
I was gonna give it a 4.8, but you, J.D., you ruined it for me. I'm giving it a 4.7 because I know this is gonna get better.
Yeah. Well, you know, for me, I'm just going to jump into I gave it a 4.5 because the episodes that are coming up, I need the room to be able to give it a 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, and 4.9 because there are episodes coming
go off
up.
the cliff.
It's like 5.6,
I mean,
5.7.
Both of you guys have seen more than just a single episode.
I've seen 2 seasons. That's the whole thing.
Seasons of this thing. So I mean that I understand is also contributing to the scores that you're giving it because you know so much more about the show.
And I deliberately avoided watching the show right up until I could come to this fresh, and now I know I'm going to have to watch it several times over. Yeah. Thank you very much.
It is. It is a show. Watch it. Listen to the show, listen to this podcast, and watch it again for sure. We'll probably put that descriptor in the show notes. So what we're going to be doing for the next time we talk about Utopia with the same crew, maybe another guest, is we're going to be talking about show 2, 3, and 4. It's probably going to be a little bit longer. We're already in an hour, but we did go off the rails a little bit at the beginning. So I think... Go ahead.
I think we should think about maybe we do 2 just because we can finish with the last episode as a last episode.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
But we can talk about that because then we can do 2, and then 1, and it's a nice balance.
So 1 off the top, 1 on the end, and 2 and 2. Yeah.
And 2 and 2 in the middle.
Yeah.
And the meat of the story is in the middle there, and the last one, is this is funny, Ken. I can't speak. This is really interesting because it's one of those things like when people get with Star Wars or Star Trek, and it's like, well, you got to read the novels, and then that'll fill in the story with the blood. You got to read did you read the comic books, and did you? So when you actually go through to season 2 to the end of it. Now that I'm rewatching season 1, I'm like, oh my God, the depth of it is amazing. Like I'm eating a larger sandwich than the first time I started eating it.
Yeah.
Something happened where it got juicier and the tomatoes are fresher. I don't know what happened, but when I watched it the first time,
you're making me hungry there, buddy.
Maybe I'm just hungry. So pardon me.
I'm gonna go have dinner.
Utopia sandwiches for everyone. 6 layers. I think there's enough here that we can do 2 and then finish on that 1 because it's a really well done show. There's no other way to say it.
All right. So with that, I'm going to be shutting it down. So thank you very much for joining this first of many Utopia shows. And if you haven't watched the show, definitely check it out. I think you're in for a rare shock of the quality and amazingness that is out there. Plus, if you have watched the show, rewatch it because it is as entertaining or even more so when you get to watch it the second time, because you know all the goodies and you get to really see the crazy amount of foreshadowing. Really, for me, the shocker was when I watched it, and I watched the whole season again, because I watched the first one, oh, and the second one, oh, and what the heck? It's only 3 a.m. I might as well just watch the rest and not sleep tonight. And for the foreshadowing was driving me nuts, because every single line is foreshadowing something that's going to go happen, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours down the road in this series. It's that well written. It's insane. And that, it reminds me of when we basically took apart Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But at an entirely higher level. Like Breaking Bad was good for US, it's probably as good as they're ever going to get as far as story arcs and craziness and foreshadowing. But man, oh man, oh man, this show is insane as far as what the writers actually put up front. If you know the show, really, that first scene, that's the whole show. Really, you can watch the whole.
But if you lose the subtle, the whole thing starts to fall apart.
Yeah, you got to understand this is British humor. It's very, very, very subtle, and every word and nuance and slang word, look it up. If you don't understand what that word means, stop, look it up, because it has a meaning that's going to pop back to you 2 episodes down. Like 2 hours later, it's going to have some relevance. That's how
it's really interesting, especially the deep politics that they get into. I mean, they tease it in this first episode, and that's why it seems so confusing. But when they start to get into that bigger picture, you go, oh, wow. Oh, and so they just keep opening doors and opening doors. And it's wonderful. I mean, if it's not Breaking Bad, it's True Detective. I mean, that's the meat of it there. And Bob, something that may or may not blow your mind is that he always planned 3 or 4 seasons. So he was ready to go with season 3, but they canceled him. So I maybe there's an opportunity if we can push some people and get enough people interested, just people we know, whatever, start a little wave of something, I think would be awesome. Because why can't Netflix pick up 6 episodes of something cool like this?
Sure.
Why can't they do
Amazon.
a season of this, or Amazon, or
HBO.
Yahoo, who's getting into the business right now? Like let's why not? Let's do it.
There's room for quality entertainment in these people's pockets.
And this content is good content.
Oh yeah, really good stuff. All right. So I'm going to throw it over to JD to wrap up the show. Thank you, Ken and Tony, for coming on.
Thanks for asking.
Thank you for having.
Awesome. And thanks, Bob. A pleasure. And we'll probably get back. I think we're going to try for next Sunday or in 2 weeks. We'll figure it out. You'll see us live, and we'll go for Utopia episode 2 and 3. And go make a great day, folks.
Beautiful. 1